Hey guys, welcome to another commentary done by Diggity. Bottom left hand corner we have Artosis once again starting as the Magenta Terran. Upper left hand corner we've got Tim starting as the Teal Protoss. This time we are going to be on Polestar, which is a fun map. Got the Kakaroo splitting distant, 3 of them. I didn't realize there was 3. I didn't realize there was 6. Wait, 4, 5. Am I missing any others? 5. 5 Kakaroo in the middle. Let it be known. It is known. I feel like that suddenly became a random epic whatever thing. If you guys are unfamiliar with Polestar for any reason, you've got the very popular Zerg eggs out in the front, a pretty wide natural expansion. And then really the key thing is a very segregated third base, whatever direction you're going. You can see how much territory you got to cover in order to secure your third. It's not to say it's not securable, but it's just they're way far away. And also don't forget to shop at Tracy's Armory. The donor of, the supporter of something, the sponsor of StarCraft Planets, Tracy's Armory. Anyway, Tim, game 1, went for an initial aggressive attack on Artosis, recognizing that the siege tank count was a bit light. Artosis missing some mines to play defensively between that point. Also, very late on level 2 weapons, and did not catch Tim's tech switch to carrier, and Tim just able to out macro at that stage. Artosis, I think, also a little bit further behind. It's almost a race with Goliaths and carriers, where if you have level 3 weapons, there's an opportunity to start taking out those interceptors. But then once the carriers are fully upgraded and are in large enough numbers, it gets really scary really fast. It's kind of interesting because I almost feel like the game flips. Usually it's Terran, and you gotta worry about Terran getting the Terran army scaling and being able to mitigate their economy and making sure that the economy doesn't get too saturated. And but then as soon as the carriers are out in the field, and the Terran army is usually this big mech beast that's moving slowly from location to location. Once you hit carriers, it's like flipped. You gotta worry that the Protoss player needs to worry about maintaining an economy, especially to make sure that he's keeping the minerals in so that he can get those SCVs fielded. It's a very slow-moving, large army that needs to kind of be dealt with and can't be at all places at once. And Terran needs to be a little bit more refugee style and a little bit more aggressive in the midst of that. SCVs checked bottom right here initially for Artosis. It looks like he's going for 3 Marine, Factory Vulture into expansion once again. 2 supply depots alongside that barracks once again. And Tim going for 1 gate range into expand, perhaps. But yeah, once again going for Dragoon immediately, range immediately, and we'll see how he plays from there. Artosis with a much earlier scout. No scout out yet from Tim at all, by the way. And I'm wondering if he's doing that intentionally to make sure he's mining as heavily as possible to sneak a faster expansion than usual. Yeah, there's the first Dragoon out. So not scouting at all to make sure he got as many minerals as possible to get this Nexus up as rapidly as possible. So not a 12 Nexus, but still a pretty aggressive Nexus play, and now resaturating the gas. Kept only one probe on gas to make sure he had enough to produce the Dragoons. So it should put him in a pretty strong economic position. 4 Marines produced from Artosis this time, and I think that was in anticipation of a potential faster Nexus. This might be an adjustment to game 1. SCV regathering. Interesting, just checking the middle of the map to make sure there are no proxies there, and is now going to make his way top left. I'll be curious to see if he does make his way out with the 4 Marine and a Vulture and maybe pull an additional SCV once he sees this more rapid Nexus. There is a Dragoon here on the low ground. Tim needs to get this, and keep in mind, yeah, here he goes. And Tim, unfortunately, might end up paying a price for this because his second Dragoon is now being utilized to scout. It's gone the wrong direction. And this is enough firepower to chew through that initial Dragoon. The second Dragoon's only halfway finished. So could be some significant damage. Might get a pylon. It's not going to be a kill, but it could be some earlier dead troops that Tim didn't want to lose sooner rather than later. And yeah, that Dragoon taking a lot of damage. And now on the run. I don't think this is going to be a Nexus cancellation. There's the second Dragoon. Now the odds shift a little bit, but there was so much damage done to that initial Dragoon. And Artosis stayed a little bit too long. Potentially. Still isn't able to pick off. Is he going to get it? Wasn't able to pick off that Dragoon in the midst of this, and that SCV going to die as well. But he's got the natural expansion scouted. This Dragoon with 2 kills, vicious, 4 kills on that one. And gonna make his way. Now Artosis has the problem of he's got to rush a bunker, and he doesn't have a lot of defenses otherwise. He's got a second siege tank that's about to pop out. If Tim is diligent and keeps, yeah, he's trailing that second Dragoon out. So the command center is potentially going to take some damage. A lot of SCV pull in response to this. I think Artosis might have misread that as a fast Nexus rather than gateway into Nexus based on how Tim did it. But now bunker's up. 2 Marines are in there, but that was more Marines than Artosis wanted to build at this stage. And he's also going to have to play more passively. Critically, he's going to be very, very locked into this base. Tim already has the 3 Dragoons sitting and a 4th Dragoon. He's going to have range shortly. Should be able to peck away at this. And Artosis almost forced into upgrade Terran from here. +1 weapons now queued up. A 3rd siege tank being queued up as well. Went very fast into Academy. And is grabbing that 2nd refinery. Interesting. Wasn't anticipating this. Maybe to ComSat and get eyes on what Tim's up to. Maybe expecting a rapid drop. He's already got that barracks floating over near what would potentially be that 3rd. So we'll see. We do have a Reaver being constructed. Do we have a shuttle already out? We do have a shuttle already out on the map as well. But I feel like this Artosis getting the initial scan does in fact see the shuttle. Sees that it's robotic support base, so should feel a little bit more comfortable that it's not DTs or anything along those lines. Building an initial Goliath, actually, so foregoing a siege tank, building a Goliath. We'll see once he gets the 2nd factory up if he adds a 2nd Goliath in the midst of this. Repairing that siege tank that took a shot earlier, so I think he's preparing for that potential Reaver, but this is honestly scary potential bust town. You've got 8 Dragoons, only 2 Marines in that bunker to provide support. You do have, his siege check is not finished, by the way. It's 2/3 finished. And is the Reaver already on the way? Reaver's already on the way with a Zealot. So, big 20 supply gap here. Artosis sees that huge army out here. See if he gets a siege tank to that corner and see, he's already moving some SCVs out to the corner in anticipation of a potential bust. The Reaver coming in from that left-hand side. 2 Goliaths are there. Zealot drops here initially, and now Tim making his way in. Focus firing 2 siege tanks, and that might be that. Oh, man. Group repair on that bunker. The bunker barely holds. Holy cow. But this is still a massive amount of economic damage and a reset siege tank count. The Reaver's still here. SCVs wiping out the Reaver. Hero SCVs. And now Tim's going to have to back off. But still getting a few SCV kills on exit. Poor SCV hiding in the bunker in the midst of this. Artosis lost a lot of SCVs in that effort. 2nd machine shop dropped. 3rd factory is online. Needs to hurry up and regroup. And Tim also expanded behind this. I actually want to... Where's the SCV that got the kill? I want to see if I can find... There he is. Just missed him. This guy saved the day. If that Reaver had stayed there, that potentially was game. If it got another shot and was able to get an explosive shot on that left-hand side of that bunker and wiped out the SCVs, that would have been it. Artosis, recognizing there's fewer troops on the front, able to slide out some vultures now. He's again trying to recoup those economic losses. This actually might be huge if they can either intercept or at least spotting the 3rd will be a big thing. But also if he's able to get any sort of drone hit, probe hit that direction. This isn't Reavers. Checking the 12 o'clock just to be sure. Needs to be a little bit careful moving in here. Is gonna get the probe. Okay, I got 1 probe, 2 probe. Good probe kills. Absolutely what he needed. That actually evened up the worker count, but he's still behind a significant amount of supply. He does already have +1 weapons. Another shuttle making, same shuttle making its way in, but it's heavily damaged. Tim has a good amount of map control. He's no longer concerned about those vultures wandering out in the field. We're going up to 5 factories once again. So never mind as far as upgrade Terran in the midst of this. And Artosis basically needs to sit back, yeah, build a sizable army and hope that he can break out in time. But Tim already has a 25 supply lead. He's running on one base up. He could probably grab a fourth base in the midst of this. Going up to the 6th gateway. Is honestly in a very solid economic position. Goliath range being built as well. A third command center optimistically being constructed here by Artosis. I don't know that he's going to have a sufficient attack force in the next 3 minutes to be able to push up and grab that 9 o'clock base with all these Dragoons and a Reaver and a shuttle at the near side. But we'll see. I could be wrong on that. But I'm looking right now at 7 siege tanks. That'll maybe be, what, 10 siege tanks by the time he's looking to move out. But there's going to be a much larger army staged out here. And Zealot leg speed theoretically will be finished in that space. It could be he goes a little bit earlier. We'll see. So there's the 8th. 9th on the way. Another factory being added on. Another 2 factories being added on preemptively. Artosis is really counting on getting this 9 o'clock base up. I actually kind of like this factory drop in the midst of this because he's going to need additional factories regardless to fill in supply. But Tim continuing to move more units forward. A lot of Zealots queued up. He's already dropped the Stargate, by the way. Let's see if he's going to go for that quick transition once again into carrier. This actually could be the one way Artosis gets back into this. I'm presuming this is going to be for Arbiter, but if Tim plays too aggressively along that line, Artosis might have an opportunity. Siege tank gets picked off on the edge. Zealots charging forward. This is just before Zealot leg speed. Reaver still free, gets big shots on those forward siege tanks as well. Despite these Zealots being slow, they're still able to get on the forward front. And yeah, this is my concern, is that Artosis just wasn't going to have enough on his attempted breach time. And Tim's macro was just going to be too strong as far as the follow-up. Full breach, natural expansion taking hits, the factory lines being pushed, and a GG well played from Artosis. He will move to the lower bracket. Artosis will continue in the upper bracket. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks for listening.